So a couple of weeks ago, I made a video discussing how I was kind of doing an outreach on YouTube that I hadn't done before. All the other ways that I've been helping online for the last 18 years now was putting up material and people would come find my material. I wasn't doing much in the way of promoting it anywhere. And generally, the people who were looking for the kind of resources that I had, which were a lot of them on how to quit, was on cold turkey quitting. And that was a pretty specific group. And then on the dangers of smoking and the reasons people smoke, well, that kind of applied to everybody. But generally, people were knowing what they were coming to. What I've been doing, though, is going and doing an outreach now. So I'm kind of reaching out to people who I see who are quitting online. And that's kind of new. And I want to point out that I'm targeting very specific kinds of people. And what I mean by that, it's people who are going cold turkey. And I'm not doing that because I'm, in some ways resentful of people who aren't. But my materials on how to quit are going to basically discourage people who are using other methods. So, and what I'm doing is I'm searching out, just using the Google, or not the Google, but the YouTube search feature of quitting smoking and quit smoking and stop smoking. And daily people are putting up their videos. They're making video logs of their experience in quitting smoking. So the ones that I'm reaching out to are the people who are going cold turkey and the people who are totally off smoking. Now, the reason I'm making this video is I suspect that there's a few times where people are going to be seeing my comments on certain people's videos, because I see other people are doing this. They're reaching out to each other. There's going to be times where some people are going to see that I'm reaching out to some people, but gee, I never reached out to them. Well, that's kind of the criteria. If you're saying, well, no, I'm really still smoking, I'm trying to quit, I had two or three, I'm kind of avoiding those. Now, there's a part of me that wants to reach out to them, but there's a part of me that knows that if I do and they see the stance I have about that issue, they're not going to be happy about it. They need to know it to a degree, but if it comes from me, it's going to be a problem. And people who are using nicotine replacement, or basically any medications, I'm not addressing those. So if you happen to be on somebody else's video, you see I've been helping out there, and somehow I haven't addressed you, that's the reason. It's nothing personal, but I want you to do what you're doing, and without me trying to discourage you in one way or the other. The reason I'm making this, though, there are people who I see where I'm talking to somebody and who's going cold turkey and has been totally off, and other people who are also quitting on the same time that they are now trying to compare their notes. And there's two cautions I have here. First, comparing notes with other people, even if they're quitting the exact same way you are, it's not going to be an accurate predictor of what's going to happen to you because something happens to another person. And to keep this video relatively short, in the page that'll link into this, I'll have one about comparing quits with others. You can't do it. You can't compare quits with your own past quits. They're going to vary from time to time. And that video will cover that extensively. The other issue, though, are people who are comparing notes who are going cold turkey and now listening to people who are using nicotine replacement, because you got to understand those are two totally different quits. Yes, they're both breaking habits. They're both breaking the smoking patterns of the person who is going cold turkey and living their life. They're learning how to do all these different things without smoking. And the person who's using nicotine replacement and is going on and doing all their other things in their life, and they're not smoking. They're breaking associations with smoking. But that's where the similarities stop, because the person who's gone cold turkey, in a sense, is detoxing. And when they're on day 4, they're over the worst physically. When a person who's using nicotine replacement is on day 4, they, in a way, have not detoxed yet, and they may not be detoxing for weeks or months. So for people who have gone cold turkey and now trying to tell this person, oh, you're through the worst now, you've gotten through 4 days, I got through 4 days and the worst is over, this is better now, you can't say that to the other person. The more important issue, though, is for people who are cold turkey quitters who are now listening to people who are using nicotine replacement, and now they're saying that, oh, their fourth day is the worst, then their fifth day is the worst, and they're just not getting better. You need to understand they're in a very different place than you are. So again, I'm not using this to try to discourage people by what they're doing, but it's to more or less warn people who are cold turkey quitters to understand who to be listening to if you really want to share something that's closer to your experience, and that's other cold turkey quitters. And also for people who haven't quit yet, and they're reading logs of people are saying, oh, they're into their third or fourth week and still having all these problems. Look at what they're doing. Look at how they're doing it, because you may very well see, and you're very likely to see, that there are people who have not detoxed yet, haven't ended their nicotine dependency, their active addiction. Everybody, no matter if they use nicotine replacement or go cold turkey, they still are going to have their addiction. They're going to have their addiction the rest of their life. But the addiction will become asymptomatic when there's no nicotine present. When there's nicotine still in the system, well, now you're dealing with still active usage of nicotine. So that's all this video is. I'll put in the video description, again, comparing quits with others, why you can't do it no matter what technique a person is using, because every quit is different. I think I have a video in there calling Every Quit is Different too, which will address that. And then one about how does your program compare to? Because I addressed that very issue in there too. It was more based on people in calling about programs that I used to run, but still it covers the same sort of topic. Anyway, once you quit, once you get nicotine out of your system, your withdrawal's over, physical. There's still psychological, there's still triggers, there's still things you need to learn to do, but you'll learn to do them. All you need to do to get a quit then and keep that quit going for the duration, it's just a matter of making and sticking to a personal commitment to never take another puff